Smugglers Cove.
Aliens and Earthlings. I'm Kutzky the Space Pimp.
And I'm Tony the Tallboy. Welcome back to another episode of Smugglers Cove. Yeah.
On tonight's edition, episode 15's edition, we are going to be going through a list of questions to ask people about their jobs.
Yes.
By Logan Haley, of course.
By Logan Haley, yeah, our newfound friend.
Yeah, for the next, I don't know.
Quickly, he's becoming a friend quite quick.
Quickly he is, yeah.
Quickly, yeah.
It's quite quick how quickly that happened.
It's quickly quickening our quickness, quickeningly.
Mm-hmm.
Sure fire, quick fire, quick quips.
I'm pretty quick, but it caught me off guard quickly.
It quickly caught me off guard, quickeningly.
Yeah. So
quickening.
These questions by
There can be only one.
Quickly Haley or Logan Quickly.
Logan Quickly.
Logan Quickly.
The Quickly Logan Quickly. Quick Logan Quickly.
Logan Q Quickly.
Logan Q Quickly. There we go. Yeah, that's him.
Oh man.
Logan Q Quickly.
We found it. Alright, well, we'd get into them, but
we have some things to do first.
First things first.
Some might say even first things first.
First things first.
I can see if I pack my pipe properly this time.
Mm-hmm. I know I packed this right.
Balthazar, be with me, sir. I'm just a teenager, baby.
I forget who does it. It might be Vice, but Vice has this segment where they go in behind the scenes on One Hit Wonders. Like they did one with Shaggy, and they did one with that Wheatus song.
Scooby-Doo?
I know what the fuck you're talking about. Shaggy and Wheatus.
Who's Shaggy?
Shaggy? Girl, you're my angel. But that's not even Shaggy. Like, I want to show the nurse on my appreciation. Girl, you're my angel. You're my darling angel.
Okay, I think I heard of that one.
And then, Wasn't Me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wasn't me. How could I forget that I had given her an extra key? All that time she was standing there, she never took her eyes off me. When she cut me on the counter, wasn't me. You know Shaggy.
Yeah, I guess I do.
I know Shaggy. I've heard almost all of Shaggy's albums. I think I may have heard all his albums. My ringtone for my wife is Shaggy, Wasn't Me. It's pretty fitting.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty fitting.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which, summon ye. Well, we would get into the questions still, but there's another thing to do. We did first things first.
The first things first.
Second things second.
I feel like we can come up with a better phrase for it, but for now, yeah, that can be the working title.
The Liverpool Corner. The
Or
Liverpool Lounge. Welcome to Dr. Liverpool's
Consulting Dr. Liverpool on
go.
Smugglers Cove.
Ask Dr. Liverpool. What animal will be in the intro that you just heard? You know it before us, dear viewer.
It's true.
Yeah,
They really do.
it's kind of meta. So we will find out what you already know. If you already know it, enter in the comments below. If you recognize that animal. May not be as easy as you think. The walrus, that one stood out.
Nobody would hear that and think it was a fucking walrus, though.
Well, fair.
Unless you actually looked up previously what a walrus sounded like, obviously, you know, but that's not
True.
common knowledge what a walrus sounds like.
Because we've basically been noticing that most animals just sound like they're dying.
Typically, yeah.
It's quite strange. We've been going through quite a few animals now. And some may start off sounding kind of sweet, but typically they just devolve into...
The zebra was really nice.
The zebra was.
The meerkat was wretched, along with the walrus.
I was trying to think of the other one that was like, it was cute at the start and then it just fucking went bad shit. Huh.
Wouldn't be the emu.
Emu. I feel like there's 2 cards here. There is.
And it's a weasel. Do you want to read the emu? I'll read the weasel.
Sounds good to me.
At the same time, like Logan wants.
Alright, 3,
Logan
2,
Q Quickly.
1.
Be
This
silent,
is a
pay
good time
attention, and
to go on
simply
an
observe with
adventure.
your eyes, ears, and physical feelings what is happening inside all around you.
I think I got the easy one. This is a good time to go on an adventure. What did you say?
Be silent, pay attention, and simply observe with your eyes, ears, and physical feelings what is happening inside and all around you.
Good advice.
Yeah.
That's just generally good advice. This is kind of like an action card.
Yeah.
You've got a contemplation card.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sit still. Mine says to go.
But you know what? Like, paying attention to what's around you is a great thing to do on an adventure.
Touche. Touche. Collab. Yeah.
Weasel and emu, friends forever.
So, if you didn't guess it already, you just heard an emu and a weasel.
I bet that's going to be a fucking banger.
Yeah. How'd you not guess it, idiot?
Fools. Obviously, we're not dealing with a bunch of zoologists here, Caleb.
I'm just trying to be snobby.
You might say you're trying to be smug?
Smug?
Never.
No. If I was smug, though, would that make me a smuggler?
And if you were a smuggler, wherein would you reside, my friend? Perhaps a cove.
Smuggler Cove. Smugglers Cove.
If there were 2 of us, and I are in fact also smug.
And you came to the cove.
And we established said cove.
That'd be a great name for a podcast.
Someone should really get on that.
Somebody should. Well, my task, as of right now, is to read the emu. I will think about what a glorious name for a podcast that is at a later date. Your sense of adventure is calling you. Can you hear it? Listen to your heart of hearts. Listen to your heart of hearts. The still, small voice that whispers to you of holy and exotic places and of the pleasure in discovering the unfamiliar and novel. Feeling confident and trusting in your instincts and intuition to guide you on your journey. Let this be a wandering pilgrimage, one where you can appreciate... Why are these so hard to read? Let this be a wandering pilgrimage, one where you can be appreciative of whatever circumstances you encounter and make the best of them. Have some idea of where and what you'll be doing, but don't be attached to the plan. Instead, be willing to adjust to your itinerary as you are so guided. Dismiss the voice that says, yeah, sounds good, but I can't do that because blank.
Yeah, tell that voice to fuck off.
Yeah.
Much like if someone were to say, oh, you can't ring up a boom mic hanging off of your light fixture. Tell that voice to fuck off, yeah.
Yeah. I'll do the talking, or I'll do the hanging. I'm just trying to work the word hog in there somehow.
I was just trying to not make a joke about suicide. When you're like, I'll do the hanging, I was like, I don't know about that one, Caleb.
Yeah, that's basically our characters in a nutshell.
Yeah.
I went to suicide, I went to talking about my dick. So,
yeah.
There you go. Insightful.
My poor co-workers.
This kind of thinking. My lucky co-workers. That's why
I don't feel comfortable anymore.
Oh yeah. In this imaginary theory, I was a writer, and that was just me. So,
okay.
I was just the one coworker.
Oh, speaking of which, you know how I keep talking about Farsa, the Russian show?
Yeah.
He's a writer. The main character's a writer.
Oh.
And,
yeah,
he ends up, well, it's Russia, so it's corrupt. And, like, the main editor girl or something, she starts hooking up with him because he's such an amazing writer. And,
it happens. Yeah.
you know, like, I'm not a guy who enjoys sex scenes typically in shows or movies, but there's something about that lady that,
yeah.
they make them right over there.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, her attitude shit. I mean, I was a little heartbroken for him, but there are harsher people than I am.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say, well, harsh. I just mean sturdier, perhaps. More able to endure.
Writers do have that effect on people. That's all I can say. This kind of thinking not only limits you by always keeping you in the illusion of comfort and safety, but also leads you to avoiding the real life drama that concerns, for fuck's sakes, that comes from stretching your comfort zone. You need not do so in a way that puts you in any real danger, as there are many options where risk is minimal, yet the thrill and excitement of exploration is still there. So heed the calling, and first believe that it's possible for you to act on it. And don't wait too long. Life is too short. Associations, completion, freedom, innocence, action, attentiveness, roaming, wanderlust, adventure, pilgrimage, restlessness, protectiveness, exploration, lightheartedness, playfulness. Emu.
Emu.
Yeah.
Want me to do weasel?
Well, we'll talk about emu for a second.
Oh.
I don't have a lot to say, but I just think that it's probably forecasting our day today. All our adventuring we have to go do, or that we are choosing to go do after this.
Well, yeah.
It may lead us to someplace unexpected, so
It's true.
I'm looking forward to our errands even more so than I already was.
What do we have to do other than Value Village?
I wanted to go to Michael's.
Okay. I'm down. I'm always down for Winners.
Winners. I wanted to go to Winners.
We might want to drop by Mystic Moon.
Could always do that, yeah. That's never a bad time. I'd been thinking I hadn't been to Passage in a while, so I'd go to Passage. Have you ever been in Passage?
Last time I was in Passage, I was with that girlfriend that I convinced I was born a woman. That kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. Not Passage's fault or by anything.
I'm sure many have passed through Passage under said notion. Maybe. Yes. Confirmed. This just in.
What, to see my dumb ex-girlfriend?
No, I have this special wiretap where Passage, they contact me if I ever have questions. It's called telepathy. It's kind of like a passage through time, directly to my brain.
Okay, so you're talking about adventure. And that's honestly one of the things that adventure, I think, I thought of it as, trips to Halifax and going to Crooked Creek and Fundy and stuff like that, which it is. I do like those adventures. Very special in my heart. But, like, adventures also is shit like podcast. Going doing something new. Even if it's not this grand adventure.
Yeah.
As long as you're doing it for yourself. Like, I think when I hear adventure, and this is just kind of my little ramble, I guess, for right now, is like adventures can be the smallest thing. For me, even an adventure that I'll have during the day is if like I told you, I flip my coin if I don't know what I want to do.
Yeah. So
if I'm like, now I can hold my bladder. Do I go to the bathroom now or not? And I flip the coin, yes or no, and it's like, shit, it said no. All right, fair enough. So then I don't go to the bathroom. And that is kind of a little adventure of being like, okay, well, now I don't do this thing.
Yeah.
Right? Do I go for a smoke? Flip the coin. No.
Yeah.
All right, well, what's the worst that's going to happen? Well, nothing.
It's Russian roulette with your youngs or your urine. Your lungs. I say youngs.
Yeah, youngs, yeah. I was like...
Could be with your youngs.
Well,
shouldn't be.
I like the coin. But anyway, that's just... So yeah, say yes to adventure. Do new things. I think that comes down to it, because there's going to be points where you feel like, no, I can't. Just say, evaluate if it's a worthwhile adventure or not. Obviously, have some prudence. But
I think you touched on that with the risks can be minimal. If you are inclined to cowardice, there are options for you as well. So, adventure encompasses us all. It accepts us. It's inclusive. Buzzword.
There we go.
Weasel.
Why is that again? Weasel. Take a deep breath and release it slowly. Then take another and another. Okay. That was quite nice.
Yeah.
Continue to breathe steadily and slowly from your belly to your chest. Breathing this way will keep you attuned to what you feel in your body. Notice the sensations without judging or trying to change them. Be aware of how your body responds to what you see, hear, feel. See, hear, and feel around you. Don't judge any of your experiences as right or wrong. If you find that you're doing so, take another deep breath. Realize the judgments as you exhale and return to simply observing your experience inside and out. When you practice this way of observing, you're operating from a pure awareness, or the witness self, the self that radiates through and fills your being. It's the self that feels a deep connection with the world as a participant, while at the same time is centered in the observer. Operating this way for a few minutes each day becomes a meditation and will stimulate the realization of the unity of all life, with you serving as a direct conduit and expressing of spirit. When you're connected to spirit, the natural world speaks to you, and you become sensitive to the energies of the earth. Awareness without meditation or judgment, centered in your heart and your soul, allows you to know your authentic self without attaching concepts about who you are. Pure you. Associations, alacrity.
I have no fucking clue.
I'll have to look that one up. Observation, wittiness, foresight, scrutiny, stealth, intelligence, discernment, watchfulness, forethought, silence, grace, friendliness, discretion. And that's the weasel.
Well, yeah. That breath exercise is nice.
I honestly, and that's something that I, having dealt with anxiety and learning the breathing techniques, that is like a breathing exercise I do quite often. I do my yogic breathing, like I fill out my diaphragm, then my chest, and like I love it because you can, you can, in the video that I watch, it's like you can feel your breath in your skull and like the crown of your head. And at first you're like, that's bullshit. What poppycock? Nah. And then it happens and you're like, oh, well, I feel really calm and foolish for doubting this lady.
It doesn't really sound that far-fetched that you would feel your breath in parts of your body.
Well, I just mean, feeling your breath in like up through your spine and in your brain, but you can. And I find that's just another wonderful aspect of spirituality that is so readily available that, to someone who doesn't try it, like it is such a small thing, but it can make such a big difference, right? Like it's really interesting how quickly you can align yourself if you do just a very simple exercise.
Just focus on your breathing.
Yeah,
I can agree with that.
Really nice. And as far as like the weasel goes, I find that that's been what I'm trying to do in my day-to-day life more and more. Like this past weekend. Trying to figure out what I was going to do, get my mind off shit, and I found myself initially like having a YouTube video on, just to have the YouTube video on, and then I was like, and listening to myself, I took a dark shower and I had Spotify on, that new band I sent you, not band, but music group, the
Moros.
Yeah, the Marde de
More
something. I was in the shower and I was like, no, like I kept thinking like, do I want this music off? And it's kind of like you with the milkshake, like if I have to question it, don't do it.
I was thinking about the milkshake.
So I was like, no, I just turned it off and had a shower in the pitch black and in the quiet, and That's, like, listen to yourself, because your body and your soul really do communicate with you, but we get so trapped in our minds that we really miss out on a lot of stuff. So the weasel, if you're struggling with stuff and you need time, or you need to
just have a milkshake.
Center.
Yeah.
Well, that's another thing too. Food is a big one for me, as I've told you, is off air, I think. But anyway, like, if I find that I'm just eating because I'm bored or to feel better, then usually that food, like, clogs up my brain. Which is, if I'm snacking at work, I'll stay away from cheese. That's a big one. I'll stay away from, like, the fries in the bowl. Instead, I'll be like, what's this? A handful of pineapple? Ooh, a cucumber slice? Like, gimme. Like, also, pineapple's dope on salads. I made a salad dressing. It's a kind of a spicy salad dressing. And I put pineapple on it. That was just, it's something.
Yeah, that sounds fucking delicious.
Well, yeah, no, pineapple's just,
sign me up.
Yeah. Well, I could make a batch of my salad dressing. I just wouldn't put in the garlic. Well, you eat Caesar salad anyway.
Yeah, it's one of my things where garlic is giving it a pass.
Cool. Yeah. Well, then I'll make some of my salad dressing sometime and bring it over.
You don't have to put garlic in it. Don't. But yeah, for whatever reason, Caesar.
If I'm making food, typically I have to put garlic in.
That's what people have been telling me ever since I was a little boy. You know what I tell them? Fuck off, I'm hanging a boom mic.
Yeah, you are. So, okay, well, we didn't do the bit, but...
Yeah, boom mic in the room.
Boom mic in the room. You may notice we don't have a giant white ball in front of our balls. Like...
Where is it?
Observe.
Yeah.
Dear listener, viewer! We now have a boom mic. We got the mic set up, the condenser mic that Caleb won in the draw prize last week. So we're getting closer and closer to where we want to be. It's a bit ramshackle.
Yeah.
We have the boom mic hanging off the light fixture, and you can't see it on the camera, but we have the cord hanging down, and the interface is sitting on top of the TV.
Let me take a quick... I think upload this in the video. If I take a video of it here. You guys see me filming you, dear viewer. So this is our boom mic on a fucking lamp. And there...
and they'll be able to see... what's the goddess's name?
Saraswati.
Your camera's really good for video.
So is yours, my man. You took that photo. It was fucking bonkers.
Yeah, that was actually... Yeah.
The war of Samsung and iPhone. Samsung is winning to nobody's awareness.
Yeah. Well, I've always just liked Android better anyway, but that's... I don't know. I was kind of raised in an elitist household where it's like Windows versus Mac. Well, maybe I wasn't. Maybe I just developed it on my own. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't blame my brothers for things that I just developed.
I think that Android's probably generally better. It's just the interface of Apple is so easy.
And see, that's the thing, is growing up in the Windows is like, with my brothers being the techies that they are, it's like, if I can't fuck with the settings, then I'm upset.
Yeah, there's one of the biggest things that pissed me off when I switched from Samsung to iPhone was... On my Samsung, no matter what song I had, I save a lot of music to my phone. I'm old school. But I was able to take whatever song I had in my library and just make it my ringtone. Now I gotta pay fucking $2.99 for a snippet of a song.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, son.
All those ringtones.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's the name of the game. Thank you, Mama, for putting iTunes money in my stocking each year. That keeps me with the ringtones. Individualized for.
Why would they even do that? What a horrible business practice.
That's what they do.
Well, anyway, I think we've gotten through first things first, and...
speaking of horrible business practice...
Well, I'm not going to say anything about my job.
I meant Logan Q Quickly's job.
Oh, Logan Q Quickly is probably quickly writing on another essay, or list. Maybe.
Do this one quickly. Questions to ask people about their job. Asking someone about their job doesn't have to be super bland. There is a lot more to a career than meets the eye. Use these questions to understand more about someone's interests, motivations, and goals in the professional realm. Magical. However, if someone clarifies that they don't enjoy their job, for example, they give concise answers or make negative comments, you may want to move on to a different topic of conversation, or only focus on questions related to their dream job or future aspirations.
So basically, he's telling you to be socially competent. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Good advice. Out the gate swinging. What do you enjoy most about your career? Tell me.
Well, as I said in the last episode, I wouldn't call cooking my career.
No.
So I'm just going to say podcasting. Mm-hmm. What I enjoy about podcasting is making my own schedule, being able to express myself, to kind of surround myself with truth, seeking, curiosity, fun.
Yeah.
What I enjoy most about the job that I have is the people that I work with, the environment. Basically, the people I work with, the environment, and working with food is pretty fun when you're hungry.
Yeah, fair.
You know?
That's true. If I would have to answer this, I guess I would say my career would be writing. What I enjoy most about my career is fucking cracking the truth out of a bunch of nonsense. That's where my writing kind of, I don't know, leads me, or I tend to just write about that. I like writing shit, and then I don't really reread it that much. Sometimes rereading it is a nice part and be like, that was really good. I do get a fix off of it, like similar to skateboarding and like landing a good trick. It's like when I've written really good, and writing, I do find I can get to a window where it's like, this is bulletproof perfect. Like, I can write a bunch of different things, but when I know it's good, it's just, it comes out like that, done, and yeah, it's feels pretty good, because I know that I just fucking killed it, and so that makes me feel good about my skills, and it's nice to have something that I know that I'm good at. You know, I guess there's a number of things I'm pretty decent at, but writing for me is just like, I can fucking do that, baby. So the confidence and fulfillment, that's what I enjoy most. Fucking,
I like learning new stuff at work too.
Yeah.
Like when I learn new stuff that I'm going to put to use, or even learn how to use machines at work, like cooking machines.
Yeah.
Like the slicer, the mixer, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's pretty neat. And I do like learning about cooking. It's just that my passion isn't to cook for other people. Like if I'm cooking for, friends or myself, then that's fun.
Yeah.
But there's very little that's gratifying about pounding out food for 6 hours and then being like, all right, let's clean and go home.
Yeah. When it gets too repetitive, it kind of, I would imagine, drowns the joy.
Well, and there is a sense of like adrenaline and accomplishment when you are in the weeds, like in the summer, and you're just like, okay, go, 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 go. There is that like, and you got the kitchen music just blaring, and everyone's just running around like doing everything, and it's like the most adrenaline-filled clock, just working together to get the gears turning. I really do enjoy that. That's a good feeling.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah,
there we are. Number 56. What was your greatest accomplishment in the past year?
I'd say moving from dishwasher to cook, if you're talking about my job.
Yeah.
Spent the last 11 years or 12 years or whenever being a friggin' dishwasher because I was too afraid to be a cook, and then I finally became a cook because I was like, no, I want more money.
Yes.
Well, I don't want to do the dishes anymore.
Yeah.
I finally took that step, and I had a terrible boss for a while. Like, sorry, buddy, but
It happens.
You have
We all
issues.
Yeah.
And he treated me like shit. That being said, like, as much as I hated how he treated me,
Yeah.
he did, and I hate saying this, he did teach me a lot of valuable techniques and like ways to approach the work. And like, he himself couldn't handle the work. Like, he got overwhelmed super quickly.
Yeah.
But he had the knowledge, he just couldn't apply it.
Well,
and I'm glad he's gone, don't get me wrong, but he did teach me a lot. Like, when the summer comes around again, like, I'm going to be ready. My station is going to be ready. I'm going to be fucking like, okay, cool.
it just kind of goes to it, not that you're saying this, but just so that said, nobody's useless. Even the people that grind our gears the most, there's something to be learned, and it's if you don't believe that, it's still true.
I'm just there was so you know how I talked about that girl who the older lady was like, is she
the harlot?
Yeah, like, I think she's an atheist. Oh, you mean a whore?
Yeah.
There was one time we were out back prepping, and she goes, Tony.
This is the woman who called the other girl a harlot, or
no? This is the harlot herself.
Okay.
So another thing about her was that she would stand on the line with her hands in her pockets and like not do her job and not clean the station. Anyway, she was literally useless. I learned nothing from her other than I didn't learn anything from her. So one day I was standing out back.
I think if you thought enough. So there's that old adage, like,
there's also this adage that says you can't get blood from a stone, Caleb.
Well, a fool will learn. How does this go? A wise man will learn more from a fool's answer than a fool will learn from a wise man's answer. So basically, everybody, even if it's just a reiteration of something you already learned, it usually gives you a shade deeper onto the peculiarities of a fool.
Okay, but fair enough. But I'm going to continue. So we're out back prepping. She goes, Tony, did you know that you can tell the difference between a female red pepper and a male red pepper? And I was like, oh yeah?
Yeah.
What is it?
You shake it.
I don't remember, but you can tell. And so the only thing that I learned at that point
is that you can distinguish.
Is that there's a female red pepper and a male red pepper. Yeah. But she, who was fresh out of culinary school, could not tell me. And you know how much it mattered to me that you could tell the difference? Enough to not Google it or think about it until now.
Well, here we are.
Yeah.
Mystery still unsolved.
Yeah.
But there's a way. I imagine it's shaking it. It's probably similar to the cucumber method.
Possibly.
Yeah. I think the males have a heavier thud. Yeah. There's probably nuts in them.
So you know we were talking about Ben Shapiro?
Yeah.
Hershey's has this like Hershey's campaign right now. And it featured the trans woman.
Yeah.
And Ben Shapiro, the Daily Wire, didn't like that, so they were like, they came up with their own brand of chocolate bar.
Yeah.
He, him, she, hers. One has nuts. And
I saw this.
That is such...
You know which one's which.
Yeah, that is such a brilliant fucking troll. Like, it's beautiful. And if you can't appreciate that level of trolling, no matter what side of the aisle you're on,
it's just fucking funny.
What side of the aisle, like it is. That's like, because they literally are selling this chocolate, and Ben Shapiro's like, it's a total joke. It's still good chocolate. Like, it's yeah. There was another thing about Ben Shapiro is that Saturday Night Live tried to make fun of him.
Yeah.
They went, Ben Shapiro at the Daily Wire released a new book called One Fish, Two Fish, That's How Many Genders There Are. And Ben Shapiro reacted to it, and he's just like, yeah, I would absolutely write a book like that. Like, I don't know why you're trying to make fun of me with things I would definitely say. But anyway, what were we back to? Oh yeah, no.
Greatest accomplishment.
Yeah.
And shaking peppers.
And useless co-workers who think they know everything.
Yeah, and I said a wise man can learn more from a fool's answer than a fool can a wise man's answer. So, I now know via her that there is for one, male and female peppers. I didn't know that before. So.
And your life will change in what way?
I'm just saying I'm right.
Okay, fair enough.
My greatest accomplishment in the past year was I sent a book off to a publisher.
Right.
Yeah. I collected up a selection of different pieces I wrote, put it into a package, so to speak, edited them up, and sent that off. Still waiting to hear back, so that part is sucky, if I'm honest. That's the name of the game, so if there's a question here where to ask me what's the worst part, the fucking waiting and the unknowing is sucky. But I don't know. After I sent it off, it felt really good, and then as more time passed, I'm sort of like, I've written a couple things since I've sent it off, but not as much as I feel like I might if I hadn't sent it off. So it's kind of this, like, it is crippling a bit. Like, I just want it over with. Like, tell me yes or tell me no. I don't care at this point. And if I could just be who I want to be, and she responded back that, yes, we will take it, I would just tell her to go fuck herself. But I won't do that. But it feels like that because it's just like, 2 months is alright. 4 months is getting to be like, just let me know. Like, put me down or, build me up. That feels inconsiderate. I know that that's, obviously she probably has stuff to do and blah, blah, blah. And if I understood how her work day went, I wouldn't maybe be so inconsiderate of the time that she's taking and feel like it's inconsiderate to me. But I might be right too. I don't know. I'm gonna find out. So yeah, that was the biggest accomplishment, and as time goes on it feels like less of an accomplishment. And then when she calls back and says we'd love to publish your book, it will again feel like an accomplishment. It's been a roller coaster, as are most things. Multifaceted is the name of that game, but that was it felt pretty good, and I still generally feel good about it. That's just kind of me venting and being like, fuck, tell me.
Well, obviously you're quite eager to hear news, so
and just because that news is it's the mystery solved. I'm not left hanging wondering how I distinguish male and female peppers. I know, so I will know one day. I'll let you know. Number 57. What motivates you to work hard at what you do? Well, there's a lot of shit writers. Logan.
I think Logan's doing pretty good compared to our previous host.
Yeah. Still, for my bit, what motivates me to do hard work is, at my job, it's people who don't do hard work at my job. That's definitely a huge motivator for me. If I see somebody slacking, it's all the more reason to do better, and also makes me appreciate how well I can do it. It really gives me some merit that I guess I kind of knew was there, but puts the stamp of approval, like, yeah, you got this. Your seat at the table is worthwhile, and so yeah, people sucking at my job makes me work at it hard at my job. It's one thing, at least. I think just generally wanting to do a good job, because for writing, at least, it's a reflection of yourself. It's not, you can't really hide behind a team or anything. It's you and your thoughts versus the world, and how well do you comprehend the world around you. It's a testament to whether or not you are a piece of shit. I'd season, but there's a bit of merit to that. It does really reflect directly to you, the author, and so I would rather I look good upon myself, because I love myself and I want myself to be what I want to be. So I do it for me. And vicariously through that, I do it for you. So,
Thank you, Caleb.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How about you?
I have a couple things. One answer, I'll say this one first because it's pretty simple.
Mm-hmm.
In the Bible, it says to do your job as if you're doing it for the Lord.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure that I'm a good worker.
Mm-hmm.
For, also to honor God, but also to honor myself, right? Because I don't want to walk away from the work day being like I was a piece of shit. That being said, some days I'm like, don't feel like doing much. But at the same time, if the Lord can forgive me for everything else, I think He can let me have a lax day.
Mm-hmm.
But more realistically at work, like my work, working hard, really, if I don't work hard, then I let myself down. Like for my prep, if I don't do my prep, then I'm just making my job harder.
Yeah.
Another thing is that in the kitchen, it has to be a teamwork thing. Like timing's huge. You don't want huge wait times. You don't want this dish going out cold and this dish is piping hot.
Yeah.
And also, like you don't want to be. For me, I don't want to be known as the guy who doesn't do anything.
Nope.
And another thing is that if other people are slacking and the hammer comes down, it ain't applying to me.
Yeah.
It ain't applying to me. I'm washing my hands of that. Like I remember there was last summer, we had to go in 2 hours early, or I had to go in 2 hours early to do extra cleaning because people hadn't been doing it. And everyone was trying to blame everybody else. And I was sitting there being like, I know what I do. Right? There's a reason why this wall is wiped down and those fucking aren't. And everyone tried to blame a couple people, and it was like, no, it's fucking everybody. Like, also there's stuff that just it didn't need to be cleaned, like, or it was just stuff you didn't think of. But I was sitting there scrubbing a wall, sitting on a milk crate, and I got a rub on the back by an authority figure there, and it's like, I don't need to be here, but I'm here anyway. Like, I'm doing the job. So, like, when I had coworkers that were upset, and of course they were trying to be like, oh, well, it's not us. Well, then don't talk. If you know it's not you, you don't have to say that, because other people know. That's why, true. Like, I wasn't walking around upset that I had to do the work, because, like, I didn't feel like I was in trouble. It wasn't me that was in trouble. It was everyone fucking else that wasn't wiping down walls and doing shit. Like,
he who is guilty speaks first. He who is innocent speaks never. Something to that effect.
Well, and another thing about that useless coworker.
Yeah.
She was there trying to suck the boss's dick, if the boss had one.
Yeah.
Like, being like, oh, I love cleaning. Oh, it's so great. It feels so good. And everything's all clean. It's like, you stupid bitch. I watch you not wipe down your station at the end of every shift. Like, you're not doing your job when you're on the line. Like, she'd pass me the tuna and be like, Tony, can you sear that for me? And she was in the salad station, which was my station before her, right? And I was just like, I never asked a fucking person to sear my tuna. Some people would take the tuna and sear it for me if they didn't have anything to do. Not once was I like, oh, hey, Josh, can you sear this tuna? No. Fucking walk over there, sear it yourself, you useless bitch.
Do your job.
Yeah, do your fucking job. And then she would stand there on her phone or with her hands in her pockets. Yeah. And she wouldn't wipe out the microwave, which after, Thai chickens and jerk chickens and everything, like, it was just splattered with gunk, and it was just like, your station's horrible. But then when it comes time for extra cleaning, she's sucking up hard. And it's just like, can you stop ass kicking for 2 seconds and actually just clean at the end of your shift?
Goes without saying.
Anyway, I have a lot to say about her, and none of it's good, but...
The guilty speak the loudest.
Well, that's the thing, is you're trying to justify this, and I don't know, like...
Yeah. We got it. That's there. Number 58. How long have you been doing this job? What did you say, 12 years?
Kitchen work?
Yeah.
Well, I want to say 2011, 2012. Well, but that doesn't make sense. I don't know how I got this number. Maybe it was 2013.
Yeah.
I can't quite remember, but no, I think it was 2011 that I got arrested for the guns.
Yep. Classic.
Might have been 2013. Anyway, I started in the kitchen dishwashing at the Eastside Mariners in Charlottetown. That kind of got me into the kitchen industry. And
not real guns, by the way.
No, not real guns. I'm not gangster. I was a prop guy wearing an Insane Clown Posse t-shirt and shorts, sick as a dog around Thanksgiving. The cops took my water bottle and threw it out. Come on, man. I was so sick. Anyway,
Yeah,
got
and
used
the
as a...
cops gave me my vodka back.
They
What?
gave you your vodka back?
Sure did.
Oh, man. Anyway, yeah, no,
It was unopened.
I've been doing kitchen work for like 10 years or so.
Yeah.
I've been doing this job that I've had for we're be coming up to 3 years, I think, or
3 years.
I don't know, maybe coming up to 3. I don't know. I got there. I started going to work there in the first year of COVID.
Yep.
So
2019. 2021. Yeah. 2020.
I
I don't fucking know how long COVID's been.
I don't know.
A fucking mystery. I think it's 2020 though. Like when it started being shutdowns and lockdowns and all that bullshit.
Yeah, well, we were in the midst of lockdowns, and I quit my job as a janitor, and I was kind of like coasting from that point. But then, usually, like whenever I quit a job, like if my savings go down to 1K, then I'm like, whoa, now it's time to get a job, and that's
Smart.
what I did.
Smart.
Well, I had to feed a habit. You can't buy vodka with no money.
That's fair. I've been doing this job since 2012. 10 years. What was your first job? Did you enjoy it? I mean, I had a paper route, but my first legitimate job was I worked at MacArthur's Nurseries. I worked at Garden Center, and I worked in the display garden, and I just took care of the plants. And it was pretty good. I did not like it when I started just because I didn't want to be working. I was 14, I think, and I had to get up early. That part I fucking hated. But yeah, I liked it. My favorite part was trimming shrubs. I'm pretty good at sculpting the bush. And my first one was... some people may understand this. If there's any landscapers that watch this, and others of you might be lost, but I have to speak in the lingo. They had this basically just a normal looking evergreen tree. It was kind of pillar shaped, like tapered. And there's this one beside it, and it's what they call a topiary. And so a topiary is something that's sculpted. You know, you can have it like swirl up, or you can have it any shape. You know, people do crazy things. They sculpt it into animal shapes and whatnot.
Yeah, like in a cartoon.
Yeah, exactly. So we did have some of those there, and I eventually trimmed those and kept those looking good. But I thought you could just turn any shrub into a topiary.
Yeah.
Which technically you can, but you need to start it from a young age and keep pruning it in that way. I just tried to prune a mature tree into a fucking topiary. I cut this thing to make it look like it had fucking... The other one beside it was 3 globes, like 3 big balls, kind of. And so I tried to cut it into that, and it looked fucking terrible. And my, I guess essentially my boss, Wayne, came up to me like, the hell is this? I was like, I tried to make it match the other one. And he just laughed. He was like, explained to me that it didn't quite work that way. And I was able to kind of fix my mistake a little bit. But yeah, that was fun. That was my favorite part of the job for sure. It's the cutting. So, what was your first job?
Tim Hortons.
Yes. Yeah.
Did I enjoy it? No. Not like... Like social interactions have always been a rough one for me anyway. But then when, again, like we had credit and cash. Credit was weird. Cash was like, I have to count. And thank God the customers were so patient with me. Except for one guy. And if I ever see you again, I will have words for you. You're
Yeah.
probably in your 60s now. I'm a lot stronger than you now, and my voice will get a lot louder than yours did that day. Anyway, all right. So I'm gonna go into the story about this.
we needed some context.
Okay, so I was a kid, and like I said in the last episode, they didn't really train me that well, and so he wanted some fancy iced cappuccino or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, I made one, and he had 2 orders. He had like a coffee and something else, and he's like, "That doesn't look like what I ordered." I was like, "Oh shit!" Oh yeah, it was like a half hot chocolate, half coffee with like whipped cream on it.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Does that look right?" And he's just like, "I don't know how to make it." And I was like, "Okay." And so I make it again, and he's like, "Don't forget the whipped cream." Well, It seems like you know how to make it, buddy. But of course, I hadn't developed that inner voice.
Yeah.
And so I made a couple more mistakes. And he just, like, as he picks up his order and walks away, he's like, "Someone slap this kid and wake him up." And, like, poor 14-year-old me in my too tight pants and my billowing shirt was just, like, crushed and angered. Like, I don't remember your face super well. If I get a flashback, I hope, and I see someone and get a flashback, I hope it's the right person. I will scream at you. But
slap this kid and wake him up.
Yeah, like, come on, man. Alternatively,
why are you a grown man getting half coffee, half hot chocolate with whipped cream?
And then, like, talking shit to a 14-year-old. Like, obviously in pants way too tight. Like, that was quite obvious.
The writing's on the fucking wall with that guy.
Well, he was just a douchebag. But then there was this one guy that came in who I'm sure was part of some kind of mafia. Like, he came in, leather jacket, hair greased, I'm pretty sure he had a toothpick in his mouth.
Yeah.
And he's like, "I just want a muffin, no plate, no nothing. Just give me a waxy." And I was like, "Ooh," and I like give him a plate. He's like, "No plate, no nothing." And I was like, "All right, sir." And I like gave him the waxy, and he was like, I'd say gruff, but he wasn't mean about it. He just, like, "No, that's not what I want." There was also an older gentleman that would come in and give me change.
Yeah.
And he had the softest hands. It was just like, if I could have a towel made of this old man's palms, like, whoa, like heaven.
Yeah.
But
sew him up if he passes.
No, I didn't enjoy Tim Hortons. I don't think many people would say that they enjoyed Tim Hortons.
I have got a gang story about Tim Hortons.
Please, sure.
Was doing that job, I think I mentioned it in one of these episodes, where I was delivering pharmaceuticals around the province. So
Right.
I would have to go wherever, and sometimes it was early, sometimes it was later. At this particular time, I feel like it was about 9. The Tim Hortons was open, obviously, so probably around then. I stopped in at the one leaving town here. Over by Berry Mills, none of this matters, but anyways, I'm in the Tim Hortons, and there's this motorcycle gang. So I know because they have the vests on and the patches and shit. So anyways,
and a bunch of people on motorcycles.
Yeah, there was a bunch of motorcycles in the parking lot. So I'm kind of observing them and just watching the interactions on waiting in line. There's a number of us in line because, like I said, early morning Tim Hortons. You get the drill.
Yeah, so, everyone knows.
Yeah. They had this one guy who was in a vest, but it looked like his patches had been removed. Ooh. And I was sort of wondering what this meant, I assume it was probably something slightly dark or very dark. But anyways, one of the guys...
What, you mean like he got killed?
Well, no, he was there standing in front of me, so...
That's not what it meant.
Fucking goes.
Like, was he... that he killed, or...
No, like, I feel like he probably cracked under pressure or something to that effect.
Someone took his pride away?
Yeah, they took his patches as like a slap on the wrist. That's why I was assuming something of that nature.
Okay, yeah.
So...
I don't know, anyway.
No,
he got killed?
Dead. He was alive.
For fuck's sakes, Tony.
Yeah, this apparition that I was seeing at the Tim Hortons. So, he's standing in line in front of me, a couple people up, and one of these guys from the gang, he's, a number of them are sitting down, already have their shit. And he comes up to the guy and says, like, "Yo, I want, like, give me 6 ice cubes in a cup." And so the guy's like, okay. And then I watch this guy eventually get to the counter. He orders his shit, and then he's like, "Oh, and 6 ice cubes in a cup, but only 6, and in a cup." And this guy is like 50, 40. I was just like, you pussy. No wonder your patches are fucking stripped. Like, I don't know what this is about. Like, in my mind, it was this beautiful sort of movie scene of like a power move where it's like, give me 6 ice cubes in a cup, and it was like his, like, you know, redemption to get one of his patches back was get this fucking order right. I don't know what kind of gang this is.
The manliest yet bitchiest Boy Scouts badge.
So, anyways, that was just fucking funny. I don't know really what the fuck was going on there, but it was, he got 6 ice cubes in a cup. It looked like it was 6 to me, and walked over and gave it to the guy. Anyways, the guy said thank you. Didn't really even like count the ice cubes or anything either. That was also peculiar, because if I was in that position, I want that motherfucker to count each ice cube and like, yo, I got it right.
Yeah.
Fucking recognize. I also probably wouldn't have my patches stripped, so there's that.
Yeah. That had to be a punishment of some sort.
Gotta be, yeah.
Yeah.
So they just fall off. Just got really shitty thread.
He didn't get the patch for sewing.
There it is.
Yeah.
Tim Hortons.
So Tim Hortons did not like the job. Fuck you, dude. If you didn't know how to make the mocha latte, whatever the fuck I was making for you.
No, give me so much advice on it.
Yeah. Also, like, just how, like, I don't know. And he said at least 2 times, I don't know how to make it. I don't know how to make it. Well, what? Like, you obviously have an inkling.
Yeah.
Like, help a kid out, man.
Yeah,
like,
you said half fucking coffee, half hot chocolate. I mean, that's pretty much, it's in the name.
well,
You put half one, half the other.
Well,
With cream on top.
And if it like really, like, if I was in that situation, if I was him, I'd be like, it's okay, buddy. It's just half hot chocolate, half coffee, and put some whipped cream on top for him, bud.
Straight up.
Like,
Yeah.
how hard is that? You fucking bitter, horrible man. Your wife hopefully cheated on you, and your kids are no longer in your care. You just anyway. I don't want to rant at the viewers, but
I mean, yeah, who knows?
what it like. We all have
not
bad
something to fuss
days,
over.
but who?
Man, I've never fucked anybody over like that. If I'm having a bad day, like,
No.
that's just fucking immaturity.
I honestly just really enjoy being nice to, like, people behind the counter or at any establishment that I go to.
Yeah.
Like, it's not to, get
Because
my own badge, but
you always hear that thing about, like, maybe you haven't heard it, but I've heard this a number of times, different places, where they say to a woman, if they want to know if their man is a suitable partner, observe how he treats, like, they say servants, but like wait staff, or
Yeah.
like, anybody
And
in the
his mother.
service industry, and his mother. The mother thing, yeah, but just for the sake of this, like, we're talking about service staff. To me, I always kind of thought that metric was sort of bunk. Like, if he's treating the wait staff like shit, like, sure, that's a tell, but I feel like you could tell that long before you saw him have any interaction with wait staff. Like, I don't get...
I think, if you don't mind me cutting in,
Huh?
I think because if you're, like, getting to know a man, like, first date situation, second date
No,
situation.
I understand that. Like,
Oh, okay.
I assume that you assume that too. We're gonna just assume that.
But I just mean he'll be showing up if he's trying to impress this woman, whether it be for
Yeah.
ulterior motives or not. How he treats people, quote unquote, beneath him,
Yeah.
right, is a sign of something that he might be not necessarily intentionally masking, but masking all the same, right? Because if that's how he treats people who might not necessarily matter, then there's going to be days where the woman is not going to be the highest on his priority, unfortunately, and then he's going to treat her with a lack of respect. Is my thought about it. And
I mean,
maybe for me too, since I do treat my mom and the wait staff very well, that it's kind of like, hey ladies, like that is a very good metric too.
yeah. I see why you're pouring grease on this. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I'm just like, take a hint, ladies.
Yeah. Should you just see how much I tipped her? Yeah.
I say thank you twice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fucking weird. And I just still think that you would know that, obviously, before. If it is that you need this metric, it is a helpful metric to you. However...
Well, unfortunately, women live in a world, too, where men are really quite deceitful.
It can go both ways.
I trying to redeem myself here.
All right. Roll.
Well, because, you know, like, men can act very two-faced and grin-fuck people quite easily. And, yeah, it does go both ways, but... I think the more tools women are equipped with to avoid callous or unloving men is any good tool.
Yeah. I guess I just always assume, like, women have better intuition than men. They can fucking suss men out better. And it's like, who did who?
Sometimes.
I know there's, like, outliers that don't fit the mold, but, you know, generally women seem more intuitive and they can suss out somebody without using this metric. I almost would, like, guess that this metric was
they do seem to know
written by a man. So, ladies, you probably know if your man's a piece of shit, and he's probably not your man if he's a piece of shit. And if he is your man and he is a piece of shit, probably shouldn't be your man because he's a piece of shit. No. There you go. And if you need further proof, watch how he treats the waitstaff.
Yeah.
There you go. Number 60, Tony. How do you define success?
At a job?
This is open-ended.
Well, because I feel like this is
about
a job. Fulfillment. How do if I go home at the end of the day and I feel like I did a good day's work. And that honestly might not even be like the work of the day. Like if I went to work and it wasn't so busy and I still did like extra cleaning and you know prep and like you know I got a couple chapters of the book in, then like that to me is like you know. Also success I think is being paid what you're worth.
Money in my fucking hand is success.
Well, you know what? Honestly, though, is like money. Although it is not like the metric of success as a person, when it comes to a job.
Yeah.
If I don't need to be rich, but I want to
comes to the world as it is right now.
I want to have my needs taken care of. That's what I would just define as success.
Yeah, because if we didn't really need to make money to survive, I've succeeded a million times over, and I could just. You know, I'd rather just be in the woods right now, not really worrying about whether this book is going to get published or shit like this. Like, I already know the book's good. Now I know that you guys would enjoy it if you read it, and that's, you know, in a way, I've succeeded. I'm a pretty spiritual person, but when it comes to this, my spirituality is almost seemingly out the window, because I'm just like, put the money in my fucking pocket. Take this product, sell this product, make a chunk for you, give me the bigger chunk, and there we go. We've got it. And it has been quite a long road, I feel, to get to the point where the books make me money. And it's a bone of contention because I don't even really want to have these books make money. I just want to have this as like this kind of system up and operating, where it's like I write, I send it to you, you put it out, it makes money for the both of us, and this is like, this tree is now growing. It just feels like I have a tree growing in a fucking planet that nobody knows where it is or something, or I have it growing in captivity and somehow I've like, you know, blocked people off from accessing it, and neither of those are true. So success for me is the money in my fucking pocket. And
unfortunately right now, like if you know, obviously our project picks up, like I feel quite fulfilled as okay, so behind the scenes moment, like pretty much I'd say every weekend after Caleb and I are done filming the podcast, we are fucking pumped. Like we are having the time of our life doing this.
True.
You know, the goal, I wouldn't say the end goal, but, you know, we do want to make money off the podcast, but at the same time, success is also how I feel about my work. And this podcast itself is like, it gives me drive to get through the week.
Yep.
Well, honestly, the podcast has become almost like a drug in itself, where it's like, no, I need to do this.
Yeah.
Like, because when it goes through the week, and like I told you before, it's like I can get to like Wednesday, Thursday, and then like Friday becomes like, oh, and then Saturday's like, Sunday's like basically my day to be like, all right,
Yeah.
I have time in my room,
One day away.
and then it's like, okay, so now it's time for to hang out with Caleb for a couple days and do a bunch of cool shit.
Yeah.
And that was me looking at my watches, and it's Caleb time. That's so everybody knows.
Yeah.
Yeah. So fulfillment, but like money, unfortunately, is a big part of that because I don't want to be working.
Because I guess I've split these two in my head because I'm saying success is the money and success is the money.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess if somebody's an idiot and can't comprehend that, I can also feel fulfilled from the things without having the money or what I just deem to you as success. Definitely feel fulfilled on doing all the things, and I guess that obviously was said in my saying of like.
But fulfillment doesn't necessarily put gas in your tank, you know. I mean that quite literally.
Yeah,
like, being fulfilled is great for us to do the podcast, but it's not paying the gas money.
Yeah, so that's fucking predicament of Earth, man. Planets elsewhere, we don't deal with this.
I heard about. Sorry. Particular nonsense, if you want to reiterate.
I was just saying that fucking planets elsewhere don't work on this same wavelength, and we don't have to fucking tear apart our souls to survive. And so that's a lot more kosher way to live. We'll get there. We're getting there. It's on its way. We can do something like this and get paid, and that's just fucking brilliant in itself.
That's the dream right there.
We invented our job. Just like, I'll actually have this job, please.
That's the thing, man. That's the dream. And so far, it's we haven't seen money, but we're seeing the signs.
We are seeing the sign.
We are seeing the signs.
You can't see the sign, but we see the sign.
Well, but they can because you took the video.
And we're speaking into the sign.
Fuck yeah, this maniac here. Oh! Anyway, so I have a little story. The principal at my high school. Or my church school because it encompassed K through 12. But anyway, he was saying how he knew a guy who this church wanted him to be a pastor there. Yeah. And so he was investigating the position, and they're like, we can't pay you much, but we can give you all the potatoes and carrots that you could eat. Yeah. And he's like, I really appreciate it, but potatoes and carrots don't put gas in my tank. You know, like that doesn't pay the bills. Which honestly I find is really sad because if the fact that we live in a society where a pastor can't go and be a part of a community and have his like food met, you know, and that the cost of living is so high that like basically the church can't, like if the church can supply his food, you know, or at least a large amount of it, you know, because while I'm sure they're good godly farmers, but don't they not deserve a good pastor? But anyway, that's my little story. Is you still need money?
I got a funny one. It relates a bit, but it's different. So
caveat about candle magic.
Okay.
Does that mean anything?
That it's leaning towards the right?
No, how the candle is like
fraying. Yeah.
Yeah.
It does. I can't tell you exactly what it means, but
cool.
There is ways to find out.
I think candle magic's the next thing I'm gonna get into.
Okay, so the story relating to success is
and not candle magic.
Tony, this guy, he's in school, he's slacking, all right, and his mom's like, "Can you please just get through high school? Like, just get through high school, and if you don't want to go back to school, you don't have to." So he's like, "All right." So he starts attending class regularly. Whatever, does the SATs, this is in America obviously, and he gets his scores back on his SATs, and they're like really good. So he buckles down, starts studying, gets better marks, goes on to university, graduates, does some shit in business. Eventually he opens up a couple magazine conglomerates, so he owns a bunch of publication magazines. About 10 years later, after he's working in these magazines, he sold one conglomerate, bought another, type shit like this. He gets this letter, and the letter is informing him that 10 years ago on the SATs there was a mix-up, and a number of people got false results. So they basically got there wrong. There was a mix-up, and he had actually failed the SATs, but he got the letter saying that he passed it in flying colors, and that motivated him to like take himself seriously. So it's just kind of one of these funny stories about how your brain can like, you know, unleash its potential when it's encouraged in the right way.
I kind of have a story about this.
Yeah.
Kind of.
That's basically it. It's just like, you know, obviously at that point in his life, it doesn't matter that he fucking failed the SATs, but had he found out like 2 months later, that's sort of how the scientists were talking about it. Like the what if he found out 2 months later, maybe he wouldn't have gone on to do all he did. So, I don't know. That's that. Encouragement's powerful.
Mm-hmm.
To you?
So, I think mine was a story from Reader's Digest. It probably isn't a factual story, but it's about a vicar who the church decides that, okay, so the vicar is a pious man. He doesn't indulge except, you know, every week or so he has like a glass of brandy and some candy. And so like he, you know, like he's a good man. He's running the church. And the church decides that if you can't read and write, you can't be part of the church. Like you can't be working there.
Okay.
So he's all distraught because he can't read and write. So he has to you know, give up his position serving God. And he ends up opening up a sweets and brandy shop. And like he goes to sign a contract and he just puts his thumbprint, and the guy's like, well, where would you be if you could read or write? Like, look at this wonderful business you created. And he's like, I'd be the vicar at this church. Like that's the short version of the story, but it's basically like, you know, like
when one door closes.
And that's honestly something that I kind of lived this week, is that just because something happens that you don't like doesn't mean that things aren't going according to plan.
Yeah.
As, you know, hard as it is to get over and work through, just because something happened that really makes you super duper duper sad, you can still see that things are going the way they're supposed to be going, and you just got to keep going, buddy. You gotta keep
road bump just means you're on the road. Ba-boom.
Yeah, instead of running into so many ditches like I used to.
Yeah. I'm still on the road.
Figuratively.
Yeah.
Not literally.
When you're not moving, you did. What is your least favorite thing about your job? Y'all heard mine already. Waiting in fucking limbo for a response to my future editor. So, once she responds, then the least favorite thing about my job will probably change into something different. Being recognized. Which I don't know. I'll enjoy that, I'm sure. But, yeah, right now is writing. If you go about the way I did, I'm just self-taught. Learned to do it, been doing it, figured out the ways in which you put forth a book to publishers. Had to figure that out myself. I'm not complaining, I'm just saying that's how I did it, so I did it all on my own. And
a lot of things on his own. He's a very impressive man.
You get to a point where you need to reach out and put your faith then in something else to go to the next step. And it'd be cool if I was also the book publisher, because I could just say yes to myself. And perhaps coming from such a, I don't know, self-sufficient mentality and a almost DIY-esque type thing, it's hard to not be able to just do it myself. I also am contemplating whether I just figure out how to do it myself too. This is kind of maybe the test I'm facing that I'm not facing. I'm just getting contemplative, but to maintain answering the question, least favorite part of my job right now is waiting on somebody to fucking give me the green light on what should just be green lit. So I will be happy when that's out of the way for yay or for nay, and I can. The nay's kind of like, I'm excited about the nay, because then I would just figure out a way to publish it myself, not deal with anybody I don't want to deal with, and just have it done. So yeah, and if it's yay, well then there it is. Somebody can do the shit that, you know, I don't have to do that shit. I can just write and easy breezy do all my other stuff. which I guess I would still do either way if I was going to publish it myself. So partly I feel like I'm answering my question in this game of stop fucking waiting for this thing, but I want it to be done, and if it's not done, then I've kind of opened Pandora's box on myself. It will eat at me a bit if I don't get responded to, but I guess eventually I'll just know. I think like after 8 months, it's a pretty clear indication that that's probably not on the table. So, and if it gets the 8-month mark, then I can say in full confidence, you're fucking inconsiderate. You're inconsiderate of my time. Right now, you still have the grace of doubt. So, that's my least favorite. You?
Well, I have to be very careful about what I choose. What would I say?
Politics. Workplace drama.
Honestly, inconsistencies. I don't like having to guess what's up and what's down every day. Keep my answer vague, but
No.
Inconsistencies. Yeah, I want to go to work and just know what I'm getting into. You know, obviously I can't know why. Like, you know, you can check the resume and whatever, but and I will say that work is a lot better now in a lot of aspects than it was under that guy who taught me how to be a cook.
Yeah.
Because he was like, he was everywhere across the board. I could go in one day and he could be happy to see me. I could go in another day and he could be grumpy. I could go in one day and he would help me out on the line, and I could go in another day. There was one day I went in there for 11. Right? We open at 11, and he'd been there since 9, and he goes, like, we're getting to 11 o'clock, 11:30, we're about to hit lunch, and he goes, Tony, I gotta go write an email, let me know if you need anything. Like, motherfucker, you've been here for 2 hours, and you're gonna choose lunch rush as the time to go write an email? And, like, now someone might say, well, Tony, he could fire that off pretty quickly. He could do nothing very quickly except fucking off from his job. Like, come on, man. Like, and he was a nice guy. He absolutely was. But nice doesn't help me do lunch.
No. Doesn't help you get a job either.
No,
No.
it does not. Especially when you're wiping your bleeding finger all over your sock. You know what's funny?
What?
I'm pretty sure
Your boss went on to work at Magic Mountain.
that is terrifying. I'm pretty sure the dude who interviewed me is the guy who helped me move boxes at the synagogue.
Full fucking circle.
I'm pretty sure.
You should ask him about it next time.
Yeah, next time I move boxes, I'm going to be like, hey man. Like, did you...
Get to the bottom of that mystery.
Yeah, I need to know.
And then, for my sake, after you ask him that, ask him how you distinguish male and female peppers. Just, you know. We're going to get to the... We should get to the bottom of this, like, organically. Let's not research this.
No, I just need to find out.
We start asking people, and next week's episode, we will inform you, viewer, on how it is done, and tell you the tale of how we found out.
Oh, Balthazar.
Yeah. Number 62. Have you ever had imposter syndrome? What did you do about it? Me? No.
I still struggle to figure out what imposter syndrome means.
Feeling like you have a job that you're not qualified for. Just feeling like you have anything that you're not qualified to do.
Oh, okay.
It's a form of self-consciousness. I'm pretty confident in knowing what I know and knowing what I don't know. So when I know that I don't know, I never really try to fake it like I do. I mean, setting up this mic, I was confident that I could figure it out. We tried a million things. I found out that I just had to turn up a volume knob. That's how, like, I'm pretty smart, and I did something just batshit dumb. Like, ground up. Is the machine on? Is the volume knob turned on? Like,
and it was so funny too, because it was such a You walked over because I don't know what we were doing. If you had your apple slices and peanut butter.
No, I just switched the tripod.
Oh right,
I was like taking the junk out of the setup, like.
And then you walked over and you were like, "There's a volume knob." Caleb, really? Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I didn't act like I knew the whole time. It's like I was clearly just saying, like, I don't know what's going on. I was trying and trying and trying, and I think that's just what you do. You just try, and then eventually you get it, and then you don't have to have this imposter syndrome. Be honest about what you know.
Well, and I think too about being willing to just forge ahead on your own. You build the confidence because when you figure out how to do something, you're like, yeah, okay, I did that once. Now I have the skill set of troubleshooting and figuring out what else I can do. I find like I had imposter syndrome before I became a cook.
Yeah.
And then for a while I was like, am I really a cook? And now I'm like, anyone can be a cook. I don't know why I waited 12 years to be a cook.
Yeah.
I more have imposter syndrome when it comes to like relationships. And I'm getting better at it now, but when people are like, oh, I love you, Tony, and you're so great, and people actually give me compliments, I'm like, why the fuck are you lying to me? Like, I don't know why I should trust you right now. Like, that's where I get my imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Which is its own problems, because then you kind of, anyway, it does.
I guess I could say as a painter, I feel like I have a bit of an imposter syndrome. Like, I paint a lot. But
I have that about my art, too.
Never really do it. That is a trick you get as an artist, where it's like, when you start doing stuff as an artist, making artworks, you're like, anybody can do this. You just sit down and, you know, take the time. The really creative things, like, say, Salvador Dali, like, that's like an imagination. That's kind of why he's next level. It's he can execute a drawing, but he can also bring about a world that doesn't actually exist. It had to be purely imagined. So that is that, and I guess the inevitability of comparing yourself to the greats occurs too when you're doing your art. You know, how does it stand up against the rest, which is essentially healthy. You can do it in an unhealthy way if you're stupid, but
also don't compare yourself to other people. If you see something and
I disagree with that.
You literally didn't let me finish.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Okay.
Don't say, you know, look at them, they're so great, I will never be that great. Or look at where I am now. You can look at what they did and say, okay, they figured it out. You can do it too. You can push yourself. You can strive. It is not without, not outside your reach. Keep striving. Do you need to cut in again?
Well,
did that cover it?
I would say think about somebody like the greats. Like, I feel like part of what makes them great is because it's kind of untouchable. Like, can somebody be a Salvador Dali now?
I think now it would be so. He was a pioneer, and now anything that you do that is Salvador Dali, you could do it to the same extent, but because he did it first.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, in pure technique, like you will never get the same recognition as Salvador Dali for surrealism ever, right? Because he was the first.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that you can't be on his level on a technical skill level.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing, is like no one ever is going to be Michael Jackson. But you can dance like Michael Jackson, you can sing like Michael Jackson, but you're not going to be Michael Jackson because there's 1,000, maybe 1,000,000 other people that have seen his skill and emulated it. Because once you enter something into the space of humanity's like, watch this, and they gobble it up and then they replicate it, right? Like,
yeah, true.
It didn't take long after they made the first fire in the woods to figure out, oh, okay, like it might have taken us 30 million years to figure out how to make fire. After that first one, I bet it wasn't 10 days. Like,
yeah.
That's what I mean.
And we don't remember the guy who invented fire, so
no,
we're all lost to
Tuk
history.
We salute you.
Thank you, Tuk Tuk. Alright, there we go. Number 63. Would you instead make a lot of money at a job you hate, or make less money doing something you love?
What do you think, Caleb?
I mean, I think I'm basically proof that I'd fucking make less money doing something I love.
I can't do a job I hate. That's why I have to be really careful about how I think about places, because I really am a person that if I don't want to do something, it is not going to happen. I don't have the this sense of like, oh, I have to do it for this sake. I have no, not gonna happen. I remember being really pissed off at another kitchen job I had. They put cameras in the kitchen after the old chef left, and everyone was pissed about it. And there would be days where, like, I'd walk in late, and everyone just, like, breathed a sigh of relief because they were like, is Tony quitting today? Because everyone knew I was pissed, and it's not like I took it out on people, but everyone knew.
Yeah.
And it was like, I lived 5 minutes down the road. I could start a cigarette and be, like, throwing it out as I entered into the building. So it's not like it was a commute.
Yeah.
like, they knew I was mad.
Flash.
If I don't want to do something, it's not going to happen.
Late with a statement. Lateman.
Yeah.
No.
Lateman. That was okay. So there was another job, but that same job one time. I can talk about it now because I haven't named the job and I don't work there anymore.
Yeah.
I walked in one day and this guy's like, "Vodka or wine, Tony?" Went both. How'd you know? He goes, "It's not that cold out, and your nose is pretty red." And that's when I learned that actually, because in anime, right, like characters' noses get really red and they get really flushed. That's the first time I realized you do get flushed when you drink.
Sure do. Yeah. Oh, you see it in the old drunks. They're just red all the time.
I always see the old drunks when I'm drunk and in a dark bar. So
Yeah. That's why the bars are dark.
yeah. Well, yeah, easier on the eyes for sure.
Yeah. The trolls. Yeah, we definitely both fall into that line. I myself haven't had a job since 2019, 18. And before that, I quit my like main gig in 2012. Didn't work from 2012 till about 2015, 2016. That's when I moved out west. Took the job there, worked for a year, moved back, got a job real quick because I was like, I need to fucking hustle and keep this grind up. Hated that job. Quit that job and then just didn't work for another year and then got a job. I liked that job doing the driving, but then there was that dick who was sweating me about smoking cigarettes in the car, and it just he took the job so seriously, and I was like, I need to be able to just take this job as like, this is not who I am, this is just something I'm doing.
This isn't a status.
Yeah, he burst my bubble on that really quick. Maybe I have a tender reality towards jobs, but fuck it. So stop that, and then just didn't do that. You know, I think that it's been healthier for me. You know, I've obviously contemplated the like, am I doing anything for society? Like, am I a waste and all that stuff? And I think that's healthy stuff to be able to get on the other side of. So the mental work of not having a job really puts you through the ringer, and if you can find self-worth that is beyond you contributing to society in the typical fashion, you've got some strength burning within you. So
Yeah.
that's me. I've met a couple people recently. I like going to the shred shed because there's a couple of those guys who just don't work, but they're doing all this stuff, and it's like, like there it is. You know, they've created this world that is just amazing. And if you look at it on paper, like, well, what was your fucking income for last year? Their income was fucking happiness and joy, and they brought tons of it. And that is, you know, to be cheesy, that's worth more than all the fucking millions.
Yeah.
And I mean, it is. I'm here
contentment.
talking about contentment, fulfillment, and yeah. So you can do it if you're thinking about fucking quitting your job and just figuring out your life. I'm here to tell you that it works out. So I'm proof. There's proof elsewhere, and it can be done. So it's gonna be a struggle too. Everything takes fucking effort.
Well, your happiness, your fulfillment is then going to be your next job. So make sure that if you quit your job, you're doing what you want to do. You know, like, do not quit your job and just play video games. Unless you're live streaming, you know.
Yeah, you can make it at that too.
Yeah, you can.
It's kind of the beauty of the internet. It opens up all this well of jobs that just didn't exist 10 years ago. So, yeah.
Yeah, I
think outside the box.
that's the thing too, is you can do it now. You can make money doing just about friggin' anything.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and there's so many niche markets too.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's beautiful. That's one aspect of the internet that I really, really appreciate.
Mm-hmm. God bless the internet.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So, yeah, I don't have anything to add.
Are there any exciting projects you're currently working on?
Caleb?
You don't have any of those.
I don't have any of those at all.
No.
None.
I can't think of one.
We work on
project.
nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Not a single project.
Smugglers Cove, y'all.
Smugglers Cove.
Yeah. Definitely excited about that. I'm excited
Every
about
fucking week, man.
Yeah, I got the bass, so I've been writing music and fucking getting good at that. So
Yeah.
I'm hella excited about that. I found a really good bass tone. It'll be my standby until I figure out something even better, but that was a big learning curve hurdle. It took me a couple months studying pedals and understanding how they worked, and then I had an idea. I had this sound in my head, and this is close to it. There's another ingredient that eventually I'll figure out, but to just study shit for 2 months, read shit, watch YouTube videos, kind of feels almost like lazy in a way, because I'm just sitting there watching shit, smoking cigarettes.
Well, that's the thing that I appreciate about you, though, is that you do that research, whereas, like, it's something I need to work on, is, like, I need to do more research. Like, I've been meaning to do more research on reading tarot, because that is something that I really do enjoy.
It's just dawning on me. I'm going to send you a link to, there's this girl called Sahara Rose, and she talks about Dharma. Dharma is a fancy word for, like, what you're kind of, like, destined to do, like what your soul is good at. That's a loose definition. It goes deeper than that, but it also is kind of just that. So anyways, she has this quiz, and Diane and I both did the quiz, and it gives you your 2 main archetypes, and mine was researcher, and I forget what the other one was, but like Diane's was entertainer and something else. Anyways, basically I would say try that test out and see if it's of any use. I could put a link, or you guys could just, if you're interested, search up Sarah Rose Dharma quiz, and it's a useful quiz to do. It gives you a little more insight into yourself. And when I heard researcher, I honestly was kind of surprised. I was like, researcher of all things? And then I was like, well, no, like, Caleb, how'd you teach yourself everything you fucking know? I researched. I never really call it research. I'm going down to my study to research. But yeah, all the books I've read, all the fucking knowledge I've picked up, that's research. Get off my floor. There we go.
Get off of there, you little varmint.
So
I just imagined Elmer Fudd coming in and just starting to shoot the floor to get rid of that burning basket.
That'd be fun. Tony, you've got some art projects on the go.
I have one on the go for sure. That I'm really sorry, Alex. So Alex did.
Art takes time.
Yeah. Well, and okay. So this is going to be a bit of a bleeding heart moment, I guess. But Alex is a friend at work who, despite me constantly just being a sad sack of shit, is just like, when are you going to do some art, Tony? When are you going to do some art, Tony? And around Christmas time, she's like, Tony, we're doing an art trade for Christmas. And I was like, we are? She was like, yeah, we are. So she did me this beautiful painting. And I only just started her piece, and I swear, dear, I'm working on it. Kind of. It's basically just like, I want to get it done, but then just being fucking tuckered at the end of the day. But like, that video we watched, Gem Goddess, there the other day, like, this week has kind of been about like, no, this isn't me week.
The balance.
Yeah, I have begun the art project, so I won't talk about it in case I know that Alex watches this, and thank you very much for that. I appreciate that, Alex.
I've heard about it, and it's pretty cool.
I've
seen a bit.
The progress that's actually, like,
Alex, you're gonna be happy.
Oh yeah, no, I fucking know she will. Like, it's going to be good. I just have to, a lot of parts to figure out, but it is fun when I get down, and when I get to work on it, it's just like yes, but it's just when I get home at the end of the day sometimes, and it's just like
well, you gotta take care of yourself first.
Well, and that's the trick, and I know that she's just patient and she's just encouraging me.
There we go.
And thank God for you, Alex. You beautiful blessing of a woman, you.
We love you, Alex.
Yeah.
Speaking
absolutely.
of love, Tony, I'm pausing this. I'm gonna go.
Probably should say goodbye to the wife before she goes to